I'm here with Josh Mancuso, JM Modern Jiu-Jitsu now, but let's back for the OGs. He's the guy that had the UFC gym videos out for a while. And actually, I think that you and I were teaching a lot of similar things.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
And, man, I still haven't been able to share the mats with you. I got to go learn from you.
Yeah, no kidding. That's crazy. You got to do AGF travels.
I will. How far are you from New Orleans?
60 minutes at most.
Let's do it in December.
Okay.
When I do, I know Chance really wants me to come, but I could probably hit both.
Yeah, well, I just tell Chance to come to my gym too.
Well, it's to feature his gym.
Oh, okay,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But if I were to full rank, I'm like, Josh's been supporting us longer. No. But he has a super crazy story. You got to remember, he met his wife, got married in a gi, so he's got a really,
I forgot about that.
They met in an AGF when me and
I didn't know that either.
Me and Anthony Mitchell were the main event for Fight Team.
I remember that event.
And AGF was during the day. I think they met at that one. Something like that. Yeah.
I did not know that. That's so funny.
Got a gym and all that stuff.
Oh, he's living the dream, man. I mean, he's doing it real, living in the gym and everything.
Yes, for sure.
Since he's come over training with me, man, it's been a great situation. I've been knowing him for a really long time, and I think working together has been very mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
Very.
I know Chance on a personal level. For you guys that don't know, we're talking about Chance Pro. He's a Nogi Pro Challenger when we had just like 2 in Tulsa. He really killed it. Won that division. Everyone knows him as a Foot Locker, runs a gym. But he's one of my head refs who helped me grow the East and West Coast here. Him and his wife, Brandy, as a purple belt, runs our pit and also refs. But yeah, so we both knew him kind of before he was in a black belt, he was still just hardcore competing and everything. And I know his former professor, Derek, as well. And I saw Chance was, out there competing a lot, doing all that kind of stuff. And I had asked him before, you ever train with you or Eric Raposo, And he was like, yeah, I hadn't really, whatever. And I forgot what he said. I think it was something like he said something smart or something like that when he was younger or something, and you guys never squashed it.
Yeah, he lived
and I was
2 hours
go
away.
squash it, bro.
Yeah.
Go raw. If you want it,
That was it.
And then I know that him and Zach Cawthorn, my other ref, they were cross-training a little bit because we go to other gyms when we do AGF, when we train and stuff. So I've rolled with a lot of my refs.
Right.
And Zach and Chance are polar opposites grappling.
Yes.
So I
get them both on Wednesdays.
Yeah. And Orlando Castillo, my event director, right? So then he was training with Chance a lot too because he would go to these other places. And he's a headquarter, fight sport, cyborg, black belt, and sick half guard and close guard. And again, polar opposite of Chance. So I was like, look, y'all need to literally mix your games.
Oh, dude, he's helped my game immensely.
Be the elite.
It's crazy. Yeah. And I'm helping him too. But I thought for sure I was gonna be teaching him more than he was teaching me. But to be honest, I thought I knew leg locks. I really did. I thought I was I'm good at leg locks. I've hit some heel hooks in competition, and nobody really heel hooks me. But it's until you start training with the guys that really know what's up, And Chance is one of those guys.
He's one of the dudes, though, that I agree with certain things. If you look at the best leg lockers in the world, they will tell, in my opinion, to master the straight ankle lock first.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And Chance mastered that, and he gets out on the metatarsals, not quite.
Oh, I have been working
on
that.
On the end of it.
Yes.
Oh.
It takes that technique, the way he does it, it takes a lot of practice to get the perfect little niche for it. And even still, I actually have more success in the gi with it because I can take more time. But no gi, he is just bam, on it.
Yeah.
And so
spins.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff. Well, let's talk about you.
Yeah.
Well, your success. I mean, from an outside point of view, you were working some kind of industry job or some kind of 9 to 5er, right?
Yeah, I was doing outside sales for a long time. And, I was doing other jobs, and then I finally got an outside sales job, which allowed me to train during the day, which really was wait a second, maybe if I just don't do all the work I'm supposed to do and do jiu-jitsu stuff instead, I can start my own gym, and that's how it started. But UFC gym was the kickoff for all that, for sure. Yeah.
And so now you've got a super successful gym.
Yes.
If I were to, be Lovato's, Josh Mancuso.
Dude, that's insane to even be in the same sentence with Lovato and anything. I appreciate
some of the
that.
schools, though, I'm saying.
Right,
yeah.
Any type of success. He's incredible, man. A legend of the sport.
Something that I think, though, that I get the vibe of not being there. Social media, vibes with other people. Watch out, buddy. And y'all got a good vibe. Y'all got a party vibe. It's a party every night type thing.
Yes.
And it's all smiles, but you're producing serious, like, title award-winning grapplers out of there and major female department.
Yes.
I would look at you guys as having world-class purple, brown, black belt females as well. So whatever you're doing with that vibe is working.
I feel like it's just like, I just look at it as a business, and what type of business do people have fun at? Those are the ones that we're going to want to go to. I don't want people to look at the gym as like, oh, I need to go get my rounds in today. It's like, no, I'm going there because they're going to be, everybody's just having a good time. And then, because it is a good time. And then you have less, animosity between training partners. Girls feel safe there, which has been awesome.
What do you do to add to that vibe to make it feel like, how do you
I think it's my personality, man. I think it's my personality. I run an electric class. I bring the heat and enthusiasm to everyone that I possibly can. I talk a lot of shit. I say stupid stuff. And just to make people to have fun, have a memorable experience, and always keep the music up.
Break the ice.
Yeah, man. Fun. And just talk to everybody and not be so traditional. We don't do a lot of the bowing and stuff. We don't even bow out of class ever. We never even bow out. We just
I did AGF travels yesterday. Jeff Messina's, I was talking about that too, because they kept rolling.
Yeah.
And I was like, is everyone still rolling because they can, or is it like because I'm here, or like why is everyone still rolling? He's like, nah, man, as long as one of my guys that works here is here, you could roll for 3 hours. I don't care.
Yeah.
But so that's interesting because I've traveled a lot, been all around different formats,
Yeah, it's clear.
And so it's cool to see that. So that's something you guys do too. Then the no bow out, you just let them keep training, or do you have a time?
So we used to have we'd have class, and then we would break and have the advanced class. But what we found was to commit to that second class is a lot. It takes a lot because you're already here for the first one, where you got to come in late. And so we just found that a lot of the second class would just be the really hardcore guys. And while that's cool, we were like, how can we make this more inclusive? And so I was like, well, they're advanced guys. Let's just take the technique portion out of it and just continue rolling. If they want to work on stuff, I'll hang around. I'll be here all night, and I'll be answering questions and walking around while y'all are rolling and kind of helping you. But that has worked great because people like having fun, and rolling is fun. And so, and by not putting a stop on it, I'm just letting that enthusiasm continue to flow. And that's what makes a big...
So you guys don't do a basics in advance?
No, we used to. Now I pretty much have set up to where and honestly, my teaching has got way away from the 1, 2, 3, 4 approach of technique. And I've taught like that for years. Now I'm much more concept-based. Honestly, I never watched any of the Kit Dale videos, but he would talk about
concepts. Same thing. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of that.
And so I'm leaping, but I assume that we're doing something similar now that I've had my eyes open to that. And I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to the fact that I think jiu-jitsu's been monetized. I think that we've been lied to. I think that we've been told all these grips are way more important than they are. I think we've been sold that we need to learn every variant of Spider Guard, every variant of De La Hiva. When in actuality, now that I'm a seasoned black belt and I've been through all this stuff, I can look back and say, man, that could have trimmed the fat on a lot of that stuff with some good wrestling, keep my knees at my elbow and head control.
Did you wrestle?
No, I never wrestled.
I didn't either.
I wish I did.
Me too.
Now I do.
Yeah, because I have some black belts of mine that are wrestlers that put that heat on.
Yeah.
So this is a big conversation I've been having with Europeans, with people who are in different regions of the U.S. as well too, and the development of jiu-jitsu in the United States. The state of I was gonna joke around because we all red, white, and blue, right? You got the State of the Union address. I was gonna call it the State of the Federation. Like what's the current state of jiu-jitsu right now? And so.
That's a great topic.
And yeah, and to touch on a little bit, my personal opinion is obviously the gi were in the kimono in Japan, came over to Brazil. Brazilians kept doing it, but also the heavy influence of judo.
Yes.
Right? And so that's not going to blend well with no-gi. And so then it comes to the States, we have wrestling in our culture, we have a different mentality of cross-training. And so that gi coming off has become more prevalent. And then throwing someone to an arm lock has been figured out for hundreds of years. It's like the transition from the takedown to the ground. So I don't think that as much of the no-gi has been incorporated. Of course, we could look at old judo videos and I saw a De La Hiva technique.
Yeah.
I get that all things have been invented, whatever. But in terms of the mesh, of the no-gi and the wrestling, and just jiu-jitsu with the wrestling. I think it's a huge part now, especially in the United States, obviously.
Clearly.
And I think that we haven't quite figured all that out yet. You know,
No,
like,
but I think it's evolving. I think what we're seeing is
still in the evolution.
So I challenge you. This is going to be interesting. So in our generation coming up, you knew all the Gracie history.
Yes.
That was important to you.
Yes.
It was important to me.
Yes.
Names like Mike Fowler, Saulo Ribeiro.
Oh, yeah. Mike Fowler, I talked about him the other day.
Hillary Williams. Hillary Williams.
Yes.
All these names, okay?
Yes.
No one remembers who these names are. I've given my students tests with pen and paper to test their knowledge on the history of jiu-jitsu. None of them care anymore.
A personal thing that I do for gray, for kids, and blue for adult is I make them memorize their jiu-jitsu lineage.
I get it. But the point is, what I'm getting at is we're losing the heritage.
Oh, yeah.
It's Brazilian,
that's why I do it.
It's
because we're losing
Brazilian jiu-jitsu right now. But it is going to be American jiu-jitsu very soon.
Let me comment on that. Hold on. We have already changed to AGF and gotten rid of the Brazilian. And what I'm saying, though, is like,
yes.
This is the Houston Jiu-Jitsu Championships, right? We used to call it the Houston BJJ Championships.
Right.
But I officially, with Chris, my partner,
the same thing.
And with my marketing department, say it's now Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And I get what you're saying about American, but I slightly disagree because then what are the Belgians and the Polish and the Canadians?
Well, this is where I would say that. I'd say that America is running with the torch. Brazil was running with the torch for a long time. And now if you're any good in Brazil, you're coming to America. Even if you're master,
that's the whole goal.
If you're master 4 black belt, you're still coming to America if you're good at jiu-jitsu. So if that says, then that says America is the hub. Now, America has something that Brazil didn't have, and that's wrestling. Yes. And a no-gi culture and a culture of UFC and MMA. Now, they have that in Brazil, but I would say it's much more popular here.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so when people watch, I used to think that when they come in, they really want to do the gi, but I've found, and I have to blame Chance for setting me straight on this, that actually I've found more people coming into my no-gi classes in the beginning. We've just always pushed them to the gi, but they actually want to do no-gi, and then they'll start to add the gi to the training.
It's interesting you say that. If you don't know, I train with Chris Brennan.
Yes. Oh, the man.
A lot of people don't know him.
Oh, they should. I know. But you're right. A legend like that. No one knows.
Yeah, and people talk about Kimuras and stuff. I'm like, bro, Kimura tried to go me in Pride in 01.
West Side Strangler.
But Chris is, because I use him as, like, for example, we'll use 10 Planet. We'll use Chris Brennan as an example. 10 Planet, they still have belt ranked uniforms and stuff like that. But you can come in rainbow spats if you want, you know. So it's a very loose environment at many of them with the uniform.
Right.
Chris is strictly like next generation rash guard shirt, belt rank, very organized, very 26 classes beginner curriculum. You do some things with the regular class, but then move over to here and puts people through a structure and did it a slightly different way. Also, he's in Frisco, Texas, which is plastic surgeons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was a place where I really realized in Dallas, it's like, hey, no, old dudes with money will train no-gi.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just people who favor no-gi. He's got 50 people on the mats every night. He's got 300 and something students at least.
No-gi classes are huge, man.
Yeah, no-gi. And so I think there's some of the concepts that absolute newbies, just going from top to bottom, or just like, I tapped them. It doesn't matter what it was.
Right.
Jordan, you had the whole arguments for years with us. Where it was a choke or it was a crank. And, that stuff doesn't really come in the no-gi.
Man, it's also just, I find that from a fundamental aspect, taking away the gi, actually, it's a double-edged sword, because the gi slows you down. So the gi is really important for a beginner to just slow down, because that's really the biggest thing for most of these guys. But fundamentally speaking, I don't want them to grab a grip here and grab a grip here. No, we'll save that for when you know what jiu-jitsu is. Right now, I want you to protect your head and make sure your frames are good. And once we understand that, then
we can talk about it.
Yeah, then let's learn some collar chokes and some sleeves and stuff. But till then, that is monetization of jiu-jitsu. That's a culture that brought a martial art over and said, we need to make money on this thing. It's too good. And so what they're saying is, let's break it up into 1,000 different pieces of a curriculum that we can sell a million different ways, instead of just teaching lessons that actually teach people how to learn and how to perceive this sport.
Yeah. There needs to be a kind of an eye-opening in a general
I understand why people do it, because if you teach a concept, you make students good fast, and now they don't care about your spider guard sweep that you've shown 40 times in the same class. You know what I mean? And they're trying to make money, and they're trying to say, oh, what am I going to teach tonight? It's like, oh, I need more techniques. Let's name another guard after an animal, and let's sell this one. I mean, I love what Keenan said about jiu-jitsu. He's like, oh, I ruined it.
Yeah.
Feels great.
Yeah. That's funny. He's a savage too. I've had him at my school.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Oh, he's
awesome.
incredible. Yeah. I mean, all those guys, the American schools are really cool right now. I'm really enjoying watching the B team. Their vibe is like sort of, we're like trying to have the B team vibe with maybe not so much chauvinism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we make it a space that everybody can hang out with.
Yeah.
But I like what they're doing. They're having fun. It's not all about the medals. It's about the whole encompassing part of jiu-jitsu, the art of jiu-jitsu, the fun of jiu-jitsu, the friendships. I like that stuff.
I mean, I think a lot of people can have a misconception of me being a sport tournament director. I'm like, nah, I started jiu-jitsu in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was about fighting.
Yes.
You know, one of the other interviews I had today, me and my black belt here, Donnie Boo, just retired 20 years, Air Force. I was in the Army, you know, and it's like, first and foremost, you and another person are in another room and one of you comes out alive. That's the jiu-jitsu I care about.
Priority one.
Yes, priority one. Everything else after that is fun.
Fun. I totally agree, man. And I think even I catch myself going off too far on one side. I'm like, whoa, all right, we've been teaching Baron Boas for 5 years. Let's get back to basic head control and wrestling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've even heard Ryan Hall and other guys have epiphanies like that later on in their career going like, man, I wish I would have wrestled. And like, and I guess I kind of got to that point a couple years ago when I really started saying, wow, when I started to wrestle, my whole grappling got better. Everything got better. And I'm still not a great wrestler, but I feel good on my feet.
Yeah, yeah, that's the way I am too. And it takes like I was talking to someone else the other day, it takes a little bit of the wrestling mentality. It takes, I think, some of the systematical approaches that we like to learn, like we were talking about,
Sure.
even though like the person in jiu-jitsu maybe that doesn't know wrestling at all, they think, oh, double leg or something, right? But in reality, it's like high C, double, single, like, so it's a chain wrestling.
Yeah.
And so wrestling is, in my opinion, when you watch a wrestling class, it's only not in a jiu-jitsu school, it's
Sure.
a wrestling class. It is all chain.
Oh, yeah.
It's not quite the same as the instruction of jiu-jitsu, but it is chain wrestling and
Yes.
it is a system there. And so I think that that's another thing that adds to the fire of evolution and wrestling and chain what do you call it, system learning.
Yeah,
right.
Well, it's the same thing. I agree. I couldn't agree more. It's been great for us adding it in there.
So you're an adamant supporter of other tournaments and your people compete all over and that kind of stuff. And I'm not asking you to just toot our horn the whole time, but what do you think that it is about AGF that'll make you drive from Baton Rouge or make you support it? What is it?
Easy. I've been having this conversation for a week because I'm kind of reaching a turning point, which is actually kind of hard. You catch me at an interesting time because I've been supporting the IBJJF for, man, probably 15 years of solid dedication and like money and sacrifice and just giving them all the credibility in the world and saying that they're the best. But I have to be honest, and I've just woken up and they treat us so poorly. They don't care about what we say. We get no credibility. I've taken all the referees courses. I'm a third-degree certified black belt from them. That gives me zero credibility with them whatsoever. If the best thing I can get is an email answered 4 days later. And to me, I bring too much. I swing too big of a stick. I have too many students. I bring too much money and too much support to these events to continue to support people who don't care about us and provide a lackluster product. When I show up to a match, when I show up to a tournament and it's 2 days long and they have 4 mats, that's a problem for me. They need to do better than that. And they need to explain or give me an explanation to why I have to tell people who drive an hour for this tournament they have to get a hotel to do 1 match the next day at best. So I'm pretty fed up with them. And what I've enjoyed about ADCC and AGF is, one is I can reach directly to you or Chris at any time, and you guys will not only listen to me, but actually give me some credibility and think about what I'm saying and not just brush me off. And ADCC is the same way. I can reach out to Mo, and he will answer me immediately. The enthusiasm of the promoters is very important to me. Secondly, the rule systems. The rule system here is much better. You guys have implemented the challenge system. For me as a coach, I love that system because it keeps me honest and it keeps the referees honest. I don't yell out constantly berating the referees because I need to know what I'm saying because I have a bag here. If I really feel that strongly about it, throw the bag and shut up.
Yeah.
I like that. It makes the whole event chill. Everybody's getting along. And if you feel that strongly about it, throw the bag.
I tell people, they say, how do you guys get so good at doing jiu-jitsu tournaments? I tell everyone the same thing. It's because I hate them. They're like, what? I was like, dude, I leave tournaments as a coach, right? Not running. I leave a tournament. I'm generally pissed off.
Yeah, man.
I leave upset. The coaches are inside fiddling with the brackets. The referees suck. Blue belt reffing. you got this organization, you got people who act like you paid $100-something, and then they act like you owe them something.
Well,
you know. And so what I did though, I put the tables in the center, solved the coaches in the brackets, gave the referee challenge rules, checked the referee. I messed up on our own AGF Pro, like all live. I don't mess up. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yes.
That's what that sucker's there for. You know?
Quality control.
Yes, and then
get
so
the ego out of it.
And take the beef out of it.
Yes, that need to be like
that's
that.
basically what. And then the organization of the time.
Right.
You know, like
and honestly, here's the thing. I have a lot of kids. I have a lot of parents. I have a lot of so like we went to Pan Kids this year, and we had a lot of the kids lost their first match, man. And these parents drove from Orlando for this. They had one match, and the kid lost, and then that's it. That's it. They paid $200 for this. I can go to AGF. I think I registered Charlie really late for this tournament. I think it was 175 for 4 divisions, and she had so many matches. She had fun, and even we have kids who lost 3 matches but won that one. And that one match made the difference for them and their parents. So their experience went from really poor to really good because they had multiple chances to get out there and get that match time.
Do you like the challenger divisions that we do?
I love it. I think it's great. They look forward to it. That's the one time I've actually heard the kids say like, "Ooh, I want one of the black ones." And so they really go for it. You know what I mean? And the other thing I wanted to mention was, just to be fair to ADCC, you guys are both my favorite tournaments. I like what they're doing with their refereeing. I think what they're doing is incredibly smart and intelligent. The way that their table workers are judges, the way they work with the referees, the way they do no points for the first half. I think that's wonderful. I think it incentivizes a lot of wrestling that you don't see. I think a lot of times when you don't see wrestling in matches, it's because people don't want to get scored 2 points on. That's why I pull guard a lot of times. Otherwise, I'll wrestle all day long. But
we used to have that. No points the first half. We tried every rule set.
I'm sure y'all have.
Times,
and I'm sure they all
did sub only. We did 10-minute matches. We done
you did a 20. I remember.
Yeah, we've done all that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you did a Rolly Delgado match too.
Me and
Super Fight.
Me and Chris Westfall.
Nogi,
like years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Years ago.
And we've tried all those. And I will say that I think that there's probably a little bit more wrestling going on with ADCC in general because of that. But what we did honestly find out with the no points the first half is the like cream of the crop will strategize differently, but the average person ends up still playing their game, and it didn't really make a difference. And some people would pull because they didn't want to wrestle for no points.
Right, that's so crazy to me. But I see the point.
But wrestlers, so there's different perspectives of it, you know. So we tried it out, but we just didn't see enough of a major necessity.
Well, variety is great, right? The important thing that I really like about both tournaments is you have the challenge, so there's a meter control for the reffing situation. In ADCC, I like the fact that the judges are both referees. The table workers are referees. They all work together. They talk about every point. I like how over there, if you get a match, like I know you know how this is. If we're a coach and we see a point happen, we're like, "Where's my 2? Where's my 2? 2, 2, 2?" ADCC, you might not get that 2 for 90 seconds because they're going to discuss the points before anything's issued. They're going to say, well, was it legit? Who initiated the initiation rule they do? That's incredible. I see people go for arm bars and stuff they would have never gone for because if you initiate it and they get the guard pass, there's no points. You know, I think the initiation stuff's really cool. So it's just different variety, and I think variety is great. As long as there's meters of control to make the coaches feel like we have something, because at these other ones, I can have a brown belt referee tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and I've done 7 rules courses and be a 3rd-degree black belt. So, you know what?
It's probably one of the biggest challenges I've had to come across is how many people message me asking to be a ref, and they say I'm an IBJJF certified ref, and it's nothing against them, but I'm like, look, it's a different company, it's a different rule set, and like you said before, it truly doesn't give you any status, you know?
None.
I took a couple courses before for 2 different organizations, and I basically got told if I ask questions, then it's going to take longer.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so this isn't educational. You're just reading from a PowerPoint slide.
That's all it is.
Okay, and you're basically reading the rule book. You're not really, like, I could have read the rule book out
now
loud.
It's just a webinar.
Yeah, it's a webinar. And so,
oh, it's so low quality.
I don't know if you know, but we started testing our refs. It's on the back end, though. Ramon Macedo, you know Ramon? Yes. He's got the bleach chair. So I love having Ramon because he's a little bit stung and frustrated with the reputation that Brazilians have in America as refs, and being biased and against Americans or being biased against different affiliations. And he's like, I'm gonna make it my mission to change that. And I'm like, and that's why you're gonna work for the AGF. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of people I want. I mean, I got a Peruvian that runs one event, I got a Polish guy that does this, I got Brazil. Like, it's not just about us being a bunch of gringos that run this event only.
Yeah.
It's like we want the best people for the job.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
like,
That's America.
Yes, exactly. And so AGF has nothing against Brazilians. I've been to Brazil. Have you been to Brazil too?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I always tell this too. Like, you won't quite understand the AGF or Brazilians in general in the better jiu-jitsu scene until you go to Brazil. You'll get more of a full picture.
Yeah, we do camps down there.
Otherwise, in America, it's just a bunch of people talking about that culture instead of going to it and being a part of it. Then you get like, oh, and it's not bad.
No.
It's not bad. It's just a different style, you know? Like, they don't train the same way in Paris as we do in Baton Rouge, you know? So there's different formats everywhere. And so Ramon is on the warpath to change reffing. And so he sends out a test to the refs before for like general testing, and then it's the week of. And then if there's certain things, so he changes the test for me. I'm like, hey, it's Kids World. Obviously, we don't need anything on this test with adults.
Yeah.
You know, so we're doing Kids World. We're all on this. I want these. Oh, we got this new problem here. I want that on the test. So it's a ever changing test. You know, it's not.
It should be.
It's not. Yeah. And then as we add new rules, like, I've really studied, because now, you know, we're the qualifiers for USA Grappling.
Yes.
People can have their opinion
Didn't
on
y'all do this a few years ago with Fila? Something similar?
Fila crumbled, corruption, long story short.
But it was a similar situation, like another big national.
It was.
The first time y'all messed with the national
Let me explain
wrestling.
this real quick so people can understand. Yeah. You know, my homie Seth Daniels, he even told me, Brandon, you're crazy, don't do this. You know, other people, I've asked their opinion, what do you think? Prior to COVID, okay, it was done in gyms, and it was done at events that were not USA Grappling rules. You had one at Brandon McCachran's, you had one at this wrestling event, you had one at this Naga, or not Naga, but forgot what it was. It was another event. You had another one that was in EBI rules.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, this is so far away. Yeah, it's so far. And they actually reached out to me, and I was like, I listened to him, you know, and this guy named Johnny Morgan, he's the coach of USA Grappling. Another guy, Blair, is actually the big man behind the scenes in Venice Beach, California. And so I'm talking, I'm red, white, and blue through and through. I'm a combat veteran. This isn't a big profiteering thing for me. This is literally a pain in the ass.
Right.
Like, I have to take a separate truck. You've seen our big 42-foot mat? I have to take a separate truck, separate rental. Like, you've been to the Ilario. I know that we've talked about, you want me to move from there, but like everywhere else is 5 times the price.
I get it.
But that separate section that has the elevated seating, that's a whole nother rental, bro. Ugh. So, you know, so I'm gonna have a mat, and then excuse me, this year we're doing gi and no gi. Well, let me finish this up first. So it was done in several different places, and it wasn't really organized. And they're like, hey, help us organize this, and blah blah blah. So I talked to my partner Chris, and Chris is, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. Very numbers and analytical. Him and I are yin and yang. I'm the dreamer, you know, and traveler, and he centers me on that. But then we come together and make a product. And he's like, as long as we don't go on the red,
you
know, like, we do this, and I say, you know, it's good for publicity, that kind of stuff. It's good for the business.
Could be something big.
But in truth, I'm a American veteran. I'm like, send these people off with the best chance they have to beat whatever freaking country we're competing against. Like, I love the Brazilians, the Russians, the Chinese, whatever.
But
I don't care. Yeah, we're grappling, son. We're wearing red, white, and blue. It's on. You know what I mean? And there's a rule set there. So then you had UWW, United World Wrestling. This is the largest World Wrestling Championship title every single year. And every 4 years, you get the Olympics.
Right.
There is no higher title in wrestling than the UWW World Championships.
Right.
United World Grappling becomes a subset officially now of United World Wrestling. Then it breaks off, and now it's its own thing.
Okay.
And so now you still have the USA Grappling World Championships at the like they just had it in Warsaw, Poland. By the way, our team from USA won the Nogi Day.
Oh,
yeah, right. So, and then you have these people like the Miao brothers represented Brazil. You got other people that are popular in their nations. It's gonna pick up more and more with more publicity, right? You got they got their own Pan Ams and Asians and Euros, and they have all that. This stuff's already set up. This is worldwide wrestling.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, it's already there. Red corner, blue corner, organized, rule set, all that stuff, dude. And it's a hybrid wrestling jiu-jitsu rule base. And now
I've seen it.
Now they're in the gi, bro, and they've been doing it in the gi, and it's all red or all blue gis, but it's the same rule set.
Didn't they have some type of pin rules or something? Like you can get pinned in that, or no?
Couldn't what?
Get pinned in like the points or something in those rules?
No, they have a.
I'm thinking way back.
They have what's it called? Mercy rule, like a wrestling has a tech fall. Yeah, so they have a tech fall, 15 points.
Okay.
Which there's certain times.
No, I mean I don't see anything wrong with that.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I like when I try and tell people I can't recall 5 matches in the last 15 years where someone has come back from minus 20 points.
It's just a
No.
And
at a certain point, when you watch these guys, these super high level guys beat someone by 40, 50 points, it's like at a certain point,
tired, man.
it's not even that you're being a dick. In my opinion,
You are.
At a point, you're showing off, you're showboating. It's now become show off,
Just finish him, man.
and it's an embarrassing. It's either finish him or or stop transitioning on purpose. But that's another gray area. There's a lot of other places that they USA Grappling, Judo, Sambo, Wrestling, they have some things figured out, like the overtime.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, they got last to score, or they got the point value. So like you take my back, and I got takedown and a sweep. We both got 4-4, but your point value is greater, so you win.
Yeah.
Takes the ref decision away. Last to score. That's another
I
one.
love that. I hate ref decisions.
Yeah, and then you got last to score. So like 4-4, but I scored last, then I win.
I just wish we'd get rid of all the advantages.
Don't worry, that's already in the rules. Oh, so you and I have talked rules all the time. Let me tell you what's coming 2024. 1 point for submission attempts. No more advantages. 2 points for all reversals.
Okay.
I've wanted that forever.
I've loved that. That should have been like that for years.
I wanted it to.
But I get it.
I had to chip away.
Well, we've all been indoctrinated into this ridiculous rule set that makes you do inefficient jiu-jitsu to score points.
It's because, so like when I talk to like 5-6 degree black belts, OG homies that I know in the jiu-jitsu scene, Brazilians, say, well, it's okay to have judo, wrestling, blah, blah, and not just have this hybrid jiu-jitsu. You can have jiu-jitsu that showcases the guard. And I get that argument. I get that. It's this sport. Mm-hmm. This sport's more takedowns, and this sport's more, and so that's been some of the answers I've gotten before. Yeah. Right? Like, hey, it showcases the guard more. But I'm like, man, it doesn't matter if it's a black belt or if it's a grandma. They can easily see that this guy went from bottom to top. Why is it not 2 points? I don't get this.
I've been saying that for years. That's why it'll never be a spectator sport, because no one even knows who's on top and bottom.
Yes, exactly.
You can't even tell me who's on top and bottom unless you've been watching the match for a while.
I have another question for you. Rules question. What about taking away knee on belly and just considering it side control?
I'm fine with that.
Because
I think I would rather see. Now you're gonna like this because I think we talked about this before. But I would, if I could trade, take knee on belly points away and give me crucifix points.
We've talked about that, and Mike Sanford. Mike wants honey hole points. He wants spiderweb points. What about spiderweb? Here's a question. Why is spiderweb not a guard pass? Most of the time, I pass with an underhook, or someone passes with an underhook, and they spin to the far side for the armbar. And they land in that position, and they're sitting there.
Should be, really. I don't see why it's not. I've never thought about it.
It's another gray area.
Yeah.
And then from the top, from the reversal thing, I had to figure out some gray areas, but it still makes sense. I just have to retrain the refs. Like if you're on my back and I'm turtle, but I peel you off and now I'm north-south.
Yeah. Points for 411 is so interesting. I'm like thinking about that in my head. Like at first I'm like, no, but then I'm like, well, it is kind of a dead zone where you're probably going to get submitted.
Me on a personal level, when I teach leg locks and I teach attacking the legs and stuff, I try to get to the truck, honey hole, 411, whatever you want to call it, saddle. And then for me, the knot. From Riley Body Comb, we call it the Sambo knot.
Yeah.
Okay, and so it's either the outside reap that way and you have that position, or you have the inside heel hook position, the honey hole, and then the truck. All of them, you're safe. They don't attack you.
Right.
And you're on the attack, but they're also positions you can sit and hold.
Yes.
But they're just not pins.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would have to think about the points for 411, but I could see the crucifix just because
everybody brown belt and over would rather go to the crucifix.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I fought MMA, before MMA, I was always going both hooks, seatbelt. Then I fought some MMA, and I completely threw that away because everybody was getting out constantly, and I never got submissions. I mean, you could get them flattened out, you could do well, but I found if I went to the crucifix, man, I could rest, I could punch, I could choke, I could do all these things.
An elbow.
Yes, and I'm like, this is so dominant. And as soon as the MMA fight was over, I quit doing it and went right back to what scored in jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, this is teaching me bad jiu-jitsu. It's incentivizing me to reduce my effectiveness.
That's why the body triangle is legal here from the back.
It should be.
Yeah.
It's so dominant.
I say, what's the worst position to be put in jiu-jitsu? I say, for me, it would be bellied out with a body triangle.
And then even on your back with a body triangle, it'll be that much better. It's horrible if somebody's got you in that. So hard to get out of. But that's what I would say as far as that point. Get rid of knee on belly points, give me crucifix.
So we got a point for submission attempts instead of an advantage.
Yep.
And 2 points for all reversals going top to bottom. Not just a sweep, right? But sweeps will still be right. And then you had the question of people like, instead of having guard pass, but having side control.
Yeah.
Right? So let's use a dogfight, for example. I come up on a dogfight sweep and I land in side control. And
Why is that not pass points? I'm sorry.
Correct, right? And so
I would totally give side control points over guard pass
so
points.
I found a way to appease the guard passers, right?
Okay.
Because I do think that me coming off of a side or a half guard sweep, for example, landing inside, those points are not as easy to get, because you also get the sweep.
Yes.
Because you would get 4 technically if it was 2.
Just like
right?
if you sweep them out, you would get 6.
But it is physically harder to pass someone's guard to get the side control than it is to land in it from a sweep, right?
Right.
So I think you would appease the guard passer still by still leaving the 3 points for the guard pass, but giving the 2 points for side control if you land there.
I could see it, but ultimately I would say to the guard passers, find the most efficient way to get to the place where you're trying to be. The end result is what we're looking for, not how you got there. And I think that the guard passing idea and the whole sweeps thing, not being takedown sweeps, it's all a method of manipulation to confuse people into letting people get away with certain things. It should just be focused on effectiveness. Effectiveness is getting to positions where we can control, and that should be all they're focused on, because I hate that jiu-jitsu has turned into a seesaw sport, because it has. And it should not be about who can knock each other down the last. And that really happens in a lot of matches. And that's why I have always said no points for takedowns, no points for sweeps, only points for position. And otherwise we do ref's decision, which we already do. And the people we focus on, it won't matter so much if you pull or take a takedown, because we're still trying to get to that place. However, you can get to that place.
Yeah. And for me, if you pass like Lovato, pass to the mount.
Yes.
Right? Works best for MMA, works best for jiu-jitsu scoring as well.
Dope mount all day long.
Yep. Oh, yeah, for sure. And, lots of development. And then side control is getting scary.
Oh, yeah.
Buggy chokes and all that stuff.
Well, I was just talking to Zach about that, because it's like the way you have to look at the buggy choke is sort of like a triangle. It's like you just have to respect it now. And where will we be in 10 more years when all these we thought we were totally safe in side control, but there is an effective choke.
I will say this, though. It is ruining lower level jiu-jitsu.
Well,
in my personal opinion.
This is what I think has to happen. It only happens when you put your head under the arm like this. So for me, the way I teach my students, I'm like, this is the same thing as being in the guard and not letting an arm in, one arm out.
Yeah.
Your head doesn't get to go there anymore.
But what I'm saying is you got guys that are white, blue belt, whatever level, and they're just letting people pass to try and get it.
Oh,
and so, like, I see it a lot in the tournaments now. It's kind of like the baseball bat phase we went through.
I think it'll fade out.
Take my bat, bro.
I remember that.
You know, like, it doesn't happen really anymore.
No.
You know?
Yeah, because people figured it out. It's
because
not
the selling
success.
point, right? You're talking about selling point. What happened? Gorilla Hands puts out a video on baseball bat, Majid Hayes, right?
Yep.
And then next you know, not everybody's doing freaking sacrificial baseball bat chokes. I'm like, he's called Gorilla Hands, not you.
Yeah, not you. Although that shit does work on people. I always found that if I was passing and I felt somebody going for that, you'd always know because they're not defending their guard. And I would just like unwind myself, because like if you keep going, it's just going to choke you. So I just unwind myself. So I never really had a problem with it. But I think people do get so adamant for that pass and just fall asleep. I haven't buggy choked yet, but I'm sure it's coming at some point.
Speaking of checkmate, guys, I trained it the other day with Marcus Dempsey and Zach.
Yeah.
I forgot where we were, but Marcus really likes to like posture and head up forward, and he gets his arm over the head and then comes back and it's broken. I've actually used that a couple times in training now. So I got a couple dudes I know that are super buggiers, you know. But the other thing I do is I do what my coach does, and he just puts a knee up on side control on your hip, just like right here, and the buggy's never going to happen again.
There you go.
And I like to do that anyways because I'm super tall. So like on my knee side control, little dudes get their guard back.
Yeah.
They'll get a butterfly hook in.
Yep.
So I either have to turn to twister side control or Kesikatami to collapse my hips and not allow that. So I've been doing like avoiding that anyways. But so when I go to regular side control, I like to just pop a knee up on the stomach.
Stops all of it.
So and then it gives me one of my idols, Andre Gaval. It gives me Andre's knee floating abilities when he goes and chases that way. Chris Brennan has a knee float drill and passing sequence that he does too. So it gives me that, you know, but it helps me stay away from the buggy.
Yeah.
Because the knee allows the space and the distance. It doesn't allow
Somebody's going to get good at my gym. They're going to catch me at some point.
Oh, it happens. It happens. I've definitely hit the point to where I'm not the best dude in the room anymore. I got too many 25-year-old black belts, bro.
Dude,
you know?
it's only so long, man. And we're not the star of the show anymore. It's like, and I think that's part of being a successful gym is knowing when to know that, like, yo, bro, you're master too. You're not cool anymore. The younger kids are cool. And so that's what I try to focus my efforts at. They're like, I'm not going to be the show forever. So that's why I focus here with these kids. And I'll be at your next event and your next one. And, you know, I'm going to be at probably an AGF, at least 4 more before the end of the year. So,
well, I will probably, I'm going to go to Europe. I go to Berlin September 30th and then Rotterdam and Norway. And then, I think I'll be back at the December 2nd New Orleans because it's got the USA Grappling Qualifier. Remember, like I said, we're doing the gi too.
Okay,
so last time was just no gi, and they fully fund your trip, flight. You don't pay for anything, hotel, food, all that kind of stuff. Just 1 second. Can you deal with one of the people that work here? Just real second. 1 second. It's one of those.
Oh boy. Brandon, I better go coach anyway.
Yeah, it's not. I'll handle that in just a second. But anyways, so I'll be out of country and I'll be back in New Orleans. Let's do it up. Let's do it. Let's do a AGF Travels episode, Baton Rouge. Check them out. Send out your IG or any sponsors or any website you want.
Modern Jiu-Jitsu. Josh Mancuso, love you.
Love you. Good to see you.
Definitely.
Good talk. I'm glad sometimes we have opposing ideas, but we work them out. We talk
about
in good
it.
fashion. Yeah, dude,
man.
it's awesome. And you got to listen to our people, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Peace. Go handle your people. I'm going to go see who's getting yelled at.
All right, have fun.